Waves just announced that they are offering a subscription model to their plugins, but they're making you pay for it. There may be a way around it, and I'll tell you a little bit about how we might be able to avoid this towards the end of this video. Plugins are essential for most creators on the internet right now. If you are a musician, a producer, a sound designer of any sorts, or even just use a DAW for anything that you're doing, I'm sure you have access to at least a couple of Waves plugins. As of March 26th, 2023, they announced that they are getting rid of the ability to buy individual plugins and that everybody is going to go to a subscription model. Now, I don't really have a problem with subscription models, and there's a lot of pros to it. For example, it lowers the bar of entry. When I started producing music, if there was a subscription model, I would have absolutely loved it. I would have been able to get in and have all the tools that I needed for a low monthly price. I remember 10 plus years ago when I started that to buy a single plugin was well into the multiple hundreds of dollars just for a single plugin. But now that you can get a ton of plugins on your computer for less than you spend on coffee every single month, it just lowers the bar of entry to be able to get in and to create music. Now here's where Waves went wrong. For a while, they've been lowering the price of their plugins, and they were doing 2 plugins for $30, and I'm sure you saw that, the whole 2 plugins for $29.99, or buy 4 plugins, get the 5th one free, and it was a business model that I didn't think they were going to sustain for a long time. In fact, I had a bunch of Waves plugins on my MacBook before I moved everything over to my new studio computer. I only moved the essential Waves plugins that I knew I needed, which was actually very few. And the main reason why is that if you bought a Waves plugin on a deal, they would hit you with an update and an update fee. So you'd buy a plugin for $30, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're spending money to get it updated so it can run on the new Mac OS. It was a business model that I didn't feel comfortable with. I don't mind spending extra money if I get a good product, but being forced into updates is extremely frustrating, and that's what they're going to do here. If you own Waves plugins, any updates in the future are only going to come through Waves Creative Access, which is their subscription model. That's where a lot of the cons come in for subscription models. It's not expensive to be able to get in and start creating music, and if you think about all the plugins that are in there and add up the cost of buying all those plugins outright, it is multiple thousands of dollars, and you can get access to all those plugins for a low monthly fee. But the thing is, we don't have just one brand of plugins. I use Slate digital plugins, I use UA, I use Isotope, I use Waves, and having all of these different subscription models is starting to become a problem. And for a lot of people that don't actually make money producing music, and this is more or less a hobby to them, they would rather buy the plugins and have the perpetual license than get directly into some sort of recurring revenue fee. There's also the issue that if you miss a payment or cancel your subscription, all of your previous projects are now unopenable. You can't open them, and you can't ever access your old files. So if you decide that Slate Digital has everything that you need, then you cancel your Waves Creative Access, and all of a sudden now you can't open up your old files. There's also the issue of a massive plugin library where there's over 220 Waves plugins inside of this bundle, and it's going to become a problem because there's so many plugins that you probably are never going to open and never going to use. I know I had that issue when I bought a pack years ago on my MacBook. There was a lot of plugins that I just never ended up using, and paying for all of that and not using it is extremely frustrating. Now, before I sound like a hypocrite, I do subscribe to a couple plugin subscriptions. For example, I am an all-access user from Slate Digital. I've been an all-access user for a very, very long time. And one thing I absolutely love about Slate Digital is that they give you the option to either purchase their plugins or get into the subscription model. Now, if you add up the cost of all of those plugins, it's well over $5,000. And it's almost a no-brainer just to buy the subscription because they add multiple plugins a year. Every single year, they're adding new plugins, and each one of their plugins costs around $150 to buy outright. So it's a no-brainer to just spend the $150 a year to have access to Slate Digital. But you also get sound libraries, you get education, there's a ton of stuff that Slate offers. Now, UAD Spark is another one I really enjoyed because with UAD Spark, you're now getting access to a lot of UA plugins that now can run natively on your computer. And not only can you have a subscription model for that, you can also buy those plugins outright now too. That's one of the main reasons why I use Studio One as my DAW, because there is a subscription model where you get lots of extra goodies, but you can also buy the license outright. They give you the choice. And that is where Waves has messed up. They're not giving you the choice. Now, what can we do about it? Believe it or not, you are more powerful than you think. Remember when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out and it looked nothing like the original Sonic characters that we all loved from the games? And everybody rallied around and got very angry about it. And the studio pulled back the trailer, went back into producing the movie, reanimated Sonic, and then re-released him with a more accurate depiction of how he actually was in the games. This is a very simple but useful example to just how powerful you are as people who spend money. The market decides what is profitable and what is not. You have the power to change everything around you in the marketplace. If everybody gets together and decides that they don't want to pay for the subscription model, they cancel the subscription model and Waves will go back to their original model because the market decides. And the market is people like you and I. I don't think this is a good direction for Waves. I haven't really been a fan of Waves for a while now, and not because of their plugins. Their plugins are great. It's their business model, and I haven't been a fan of their business model for a while now. But at the end of the day, you decide what works and what doesn't. So vote with your dollars and tell me how you're going to be voting in the comments below. If you like this video, you're probably going to like this video here, and why I'm saying that is because YouTube's recommending this video. I have no idea what it is. It's specific just for you, and it's a video that's on my channel. So click here, I'll see you over there, and enjoy. Now, as always, go create.